here I am. And you said yes, and the timing worked. I contacted you last week, and it's Monday, and so...
Well, that means the world to me, truly. I'm so grateful for that, because the few interactions and conversations we've had since then, and you've sent me a few things to read over, whether it's journals or reflections. And honestly, I think I just said it to you a few moments ago, and I mean it. Even if we weren't having this conversation today and you just sent me those things to reflect on myself, that would have already been a gift. And so the opportunity to actually sit with you and to talk about these things and have the space to have a conversation that you feel you haven't had before means the world to me. And so thank you for trusting me. And I look forward to getting to know you so much better. But let's dive in. I wanted to start by asking you, like, you said something there that was really beautiful, because you stopped for a moment, then you said it's easier to be honest. And I wanted to understand what that meant to you and how that feels.
Such a big part of my job was trying to think 3 steps ahead of how everything that I would say could negatively impact the film that I was trying to do justice to and do service to, and make sure that people understood what the director had intended. And I felt this enormous sense of responsibility all the time to honor so many people's work that put together something like a film, or, you know, even to some degree, I just did a fragrance with Prada, and it's the first perfume bottle that you can like refill. And I don't know, I take my job seriously, I guess. And so interviews to me felt a lot like chess, and it required so much energy. And I think what's nice about the way that I'm showing up today is I'm just showing up for myself. And for once, I'm not here to speak on behalf of anyone else or anything else other than myself, which is unusual.
Yeah, I think it's such a fascinating thing, because as a viewer, even before I got closer to the industry, as a viewer, everything's made to feel in traditional media so easy, and it has levity, and it feels like you're getting someone's real personality.
Yeah.
And then you realize that there's definitely reality to it and truth to it.
Yes.
But at the same time, naturally, it's work.
Yeah.
And there's a job. And I think it's not as, and you can shed more light on this, I don't think it's always as insidious or as dark as people may think it is, but there's just, it's a job and it's work, and there's results that matter.
Yeah,
right?
100%. And I think within those contexts, everyone is trying to be as authentic as they humanly can be. But there's something about, I think it's why I mentioned earlier about why I felt like this was a good space, is there's something inherently written into certain types of forms of media, which is that it doesn't matter what intention or how authentically you want to show up, the form like somehow doesn't allow it to some degree. And I've become obsessed with this recently. I've been looking at, okay, what is written into the form of something like Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or a podcast or a photograph versus a film versus a piece of writing. And it's really interesting to see what a different medium or different form allows or doesn't allow, or like actually creates or encourages. I've never done a podcast before, but I think what I love about it is the intimacy of it. It's like, I feel like people listen to podcasts when they're like, I certainly do anyway, like first thing in the morning when I'm taking my shower or I'm going on my walk or I'm making my breakfast. It's really like personal, intimate time. And I think the long form version of these kinds of conversations allows for such a different kind of discussion that I didn't think was possible before.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I was going to ask you actually, because I want everyone to get up to date with where you are now. Like, what is your day-to-day life look like? You just said like, I wake up and I shower and I go on a walk. Like, what does your day-to-day life look like right now? And what's it made of? And what are the things that you love and look forward to?
I recently started riding a bicycle, and yes, I started riding a bicycle before my driving ban, but now it's particularly fortuitous that I also ride a bicycle for that reason. But
I love how that was mainstream news.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was getting phone calls, like it's on the BBC, it's on international worldwide news. I was like, my shame is everywhere. This is, I mean, what I say, I don't know. I think in a funny way, what the sweetest result of it was getting so many messages from people being like, happened to me too. I feel you. This is awful. It sucks. Which was kind of nice in a way. But
you want to lift.
Yeah, totally. Do you need a lift? I was like, actually, yes. But I think, again, it's funny. Like I went from, when you work on movies, I don't know if people know this, but like they literally will not insure you to drive yourself to work. I've asked so many times.
So you have to be driven.
You have to be driven. It's like not a choice. And especially because they need you there, down to the minute, basically, depending on what they have going on. And so I went from basically only driving myself on weekends or during holiday to then when I became a student, driving myself all the time. And yeah, I did not have the experience or skills, clearly, which I now will and do. But I think, again, this was one of these like awkward transitions I made from kind of living this like very, very structured life to living a life where I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to get myself to this place and I'm going to like do this thing that I've basically not done since I was 10 years old. So it's been a discovery and a journey that's been, I guess humbling, because on a movie set, I'm able to do all of these like extremely complex things, stunts, sing, dance, like do this thing, do that, whatever. And I'm like, yep, don't worry about it, guys. No worries. I've got you. And then I get home and I'm like, okay, Emma, you seem unable to remember keys. You seem unable to like keep yourself at 30 miles an hour in a 30 mile speed limit. Like you don't seem able to do some pretty like basic life things. And it was definitely kind of, I had days where I just wanted to turn around to people and be like, I used to be good at things, okay? I used to be really good at things. And I know it doesn't look like that right now, but I used to, I can do things normally. So yeah, it's been humbling.
I feel like all of us can relate to that though. Because doesn't everyone forget their keys, their wallet, doesn't know where things are? Like these are like serious. And by the way, I think I was 3 points away from losing my license before I moved to the States.
Thank you for that confession. I appreciate that so much.
Because I was in the States I've been in the States now for 9 years. And I think it happened but then all the points get wiped off. And I think I'm now back to 6 points. I spent 2 months in London a year.
Okay, this makes me feel
every time I go back, I seem to
so much better.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm confessing too.
Okay.
But I haven't lost it.
A lot of people have like taken it upon themselves to come and confess to me, which I found like very endearing and like really, really appreciate it. But no, I think, something I've been realizing is most of us live in a state of like, I'm just trying to kind of figure it out and keep it together. And the only thing that is different between us is people's willingness to be honest about that, the degree to which they can admit to, actually, I'm just like scrabbling around trying to keep the pieces together versus, oh yeah, no, everything's amazing and everything's incredible and I'm having the best day ever and aren't you? And, so I do love the people who are just willing to be like, yeah, it's not going so well today. I'm like, great, amazing, what a good starting point. Like, I don't know, failure as a starting point feels like, I feel like attempting things is so compelling. And of course, success is wonderful, but I love to see people who are like, I'm really bad at this, but I'm going to try. Like, I love you. That's everything to me. Everything.
And that seems to be becoming harder and harder now. Like that desire to attempt something that you might not be good at because it's exposed or because everyone will see it or because everyone will hear about it.
Yeah.
Talking about attempting things, I mean, you're currently studying, right? You're learning.
Yes. Well, two things I want to say there is, I think in a way I was I'm someone who's always cared about vulnerability and authenticity, but I think I was also forced into it to a degree that maybe even I wasn't ready for, and that like I just started so young that like I had to learn in public. I had to make mistakes in public and say, oh, okay, now I've learned this. And I had to be willing to go back and be like, like there were some gaps here. And here's what I know now. And I think I agree with you. I think it's becoming increasingly difficult to learn in public and continuing to learn. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I have gone back to school and why I continue to do it is because I want to make sure that I have things to say that are worth saying. And I think you can only do that if you take a minute sometimes and listen to some people who aren't you, you know, and like not just the sound of my own wonderful voice. So yeah, it's been great. And I think also I wanted to be inspired. I think being around, my favorite piece has been being around young people who still believe that the world is malleable and things are changeable and that like anything can be done is such important energy. There's so much dystopian fiction at the moment and dystopian movies.
It's so dark.
It's so dark. And I'm just like, what happened to thinking about the utopia? What happened to like planning for the best case scenario? Like where did we lose, vision, excitement, imagination, possibility? So I think it's been, it's been wonderful to be around young people and just to sit there and listen, frankly.
Yeah.
Do you ever, you clearly read so much. Do you have to take yourself away to do it in order to be able to do it? Do you have to cordon off time? Like, how are you still managing to study and learn? Because that seems like it's important to you.
Yeah, you reminded me as you were talking of one of my spiritual teachers, my monk teacher, who always said to me, if you want to move 3 steps forward, you have to go 3 steps deep first.
Whoa.
And what I found often in my life is I'm trying to go 4 steps forward and I haven't yet gone 4 steps deep. And so it's almost like, this is probably a terrible analogy, but maybe I'm thinking of the movie The Substance. I don't know if you watched it.
I didn't see it.
Okay, fine. Okay, terrible. Let's remove it. No. Let's forget about it. But it's that idea of like every extra step you take when you haven't learned and you haven't experimented and you haven't attempted is taking away from your ability to move forward. Wow. And sometimes I think when we feel stuck or when we think things are not moving or they're not progressing, it may be a sign to say, well, pause and go deeper for a second, or pause and go inward for a second. And so to me, hearing that from you, I find that, and I definitely fail at this all the time. There are so many times I'm trying to push more forward than I've gone deep. And so whenever I notice that myself and I notice that I'm just kind of trying everything and nothing is working, it's actually just the universe and self saying to me, go read, go study. And so I found that I've had to really carve out time to make time to do what I love, which is to read and study. But I found that I'm someone who doesn't love 30 minutes a day. I'm not that kind of a reader. I'm someone who needs to read for 3 or 4 hours, if not more. Yeah. And so I found that carving out deep, immersive time is more important to me than this kind of mechanical 30, 40 minutes a day, which is great for you if that works for you as a habit. Yeah. It doesn't for me because I'm a bit of an extremist and I just need to spend a whole weekend reading as opposed to, I don't need to read every day. So I try once a month on a weekend to just absorb into a subject that I love, and I'll take a course, I'll go to a class, I'll watch a TED Talk online, I'll read as many books as I can. And
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum guys. Yeah, जैसे आप लोगों को पता है कि सैलाब ने लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा मुतासिर किया, लोगों के सामान और जिन लोगों ने क्या कहते हैं अपनी बेटियों का जहेज़ क्या कहते हैं इकट्ठा किया हुआ था, वो सारे का सारा ज़ाया हो चुका है। और अभी ज़्यादा तो नहीं, मैं अपनी तरफ से सिर्फ इतना कर रहा हूँ कि कुछ ख़ानदानों को, कुछ घर वालों को क्या कहते हैं इतने पैसे दूँ कि वो अपने घर की जो है क्या कहते हैं सफाई वगैरह करवा लें। क्योंकि मैं जब अपना घर देखता हूँ तो भाई मैंने क्या कहते हैं 3 दिन लगातार 3 मज़दूर लगा के अपना घर साफ़ करवाया है। तो इसलिए मैं ज़्यादा नहीं 8 से 10 ख़ानदानों को 15 से 20 हज़ार तक दूंगा, जितनी मेरी क्या कहते हैं इस्तिताअत है, ताकि क्या कहते हैं वो अपने घर की सफाई करवा लें। और आप लोगों को भी चाहिए आप भी ऐसा करें।